No coffee on this beautiful walk and talk. But we are slowly coming up on sunrise in Georgia, and I figured I'd talk to y'all a little. Unfortunately, y'all, that ain't the biggest problem I had to report to y'all today. The floods that hit Texas, a lot of people lost their IRL worlds, and I can't believe I said such a terrible thing in this world. But good news is we get to have, internment camps, which are just makeshift concentration camps. Oh, what's the difference? I'm glad you asked. The big difference at the migrant people getting deported, they were a little bit more humane than the current setup, which is basically going to put a bunch of people in Florida heat in the swamp with the only central air, knowing how government buildings are like that run, being in the offices of the actual building. So all the people crammed in their little storage buildings aren't. There are millions that could have gone to more helicopters, millions that could have gone to securing Texas's ecosystem and ground set up to where it didn't quite, produce 200 feet in under 2 hours. Sorry, 20 feet, 2 hours. My head ain't so good without notes for the numbers, but y'all know. Y'all feel how it is. See, I also watched a new small creator. He's not new to the channel, or not new to YouTube, just new to me. An Alabama creator who fights as a real warrior, a real one, on behalf of the ecosystems, trying to grow grasslands and the like. Right now, all I've seen him produce is short content, so I'm going to look for some of his longer form content. While I don't think we would agree on everything, we are at least united in the idea that we need to save the planet, and we need to start at home to do that. So, project at the moment, as childish as it sounds, is to try to take some of my misplaced anger and, oh, hello, 9 people. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Daniel, Barry, Sports Highlights, and Heather Nesbitt. But as I was trying to say, I've been angry on here a lot, and anger is useful. Don't get complacent or gentle on the fact that if you're an American and you celebrated the 4th yesterday, why? What are you proud of? I can't think of a single thing at the moment that's worth celebrating in this country. But beyond the negativity, what can we do to fix it? Outside of, violent revolution, because folks, the revolution will not be televised. Hello, Rain, Monica, Rodriguez. Sure, you can talk. What's up? You're a top. Try not to make the message too long. You can put in several messages. I gotta watch multiple fronts here. Well, that's very nice. Guinea pigs make a wonderful pet, and you should keep a pair of them because they are social creatures. My train of thought, but I doubt it because it was one of those moments that had me a little cry this moment while taking care of the cats and just thinking about how hopeless the whole situation feels most of the time with the state of the world being what it is and the true infinitesimal tininess of each of us as individuals. Not really. I'm walking into work at the moment. I'm just really good at shooting the horizon line because I'm currently in my work uniform, and this isn't one of the work uniforms I just up and bought a shirt from Michael's and did all that. This is an actual official work uniform, so I don't want to get in trouble with the corporation. The only reason I felt comfortable flipping the camera is because it's so dark, and our uniforms, even though we work in the sort of deal worked out with my bosses that so long as the corporate overlords don't see, I can continue bitching about how evil the corporation is. If y'all know where I work for, well, we are family. I said what you wanted me to say. That sort of thing, For sake of branding, that's all a joke. But Oh, I am Western. I'm American. I'm one of the few Americans that walks almost everywhere. If I don't have a friend going in that direction that we can carpool, I try to walk. Partially because I don't own a vehicle, partially because I can't own a vehicle. I own a driver's license, I can operate a vehicle, which is why I get so upset with some of the soft-sits being like, driving is my right. No. It's a privilege, honey. You need to pass the test like everyone else did. America has some of the easiest laws. Do try to follow them, at least when it comes to driving. Morning start. He'll tune in at the evening time when I do my walk home stream, if I can't get a ride home. It's give or take about 4 miles in between where I work and where I live. But now, y'all, I get on here and I rage a lot because it's like, I'm 37. When I was 10, walking this road to go to the library, y'all know what it looks like. Tune into the previous streams. Y'all know what it looks like. Tune into the previous streams. But this road has been just this dangerous. Slightly said, I'm also kind of lazy. I only work 60 hours a week and then produce 3 to 4 videos for here. I know they're not the greatest, y'all, but it's the greatest I can do with no former education on any of this. I am officially like the pirate that jumped on the ship that, well, I'm the captain now. Now, which one of these things cuts the anchor loose? I'm just figuring out buttons as we go. And yeah, y'all, that's why I'm sort of giving my crazy shout out and saying to anyone out there who's in Georgia, who's a creator, you want to debate like politics, we can do that, because I feel like if we don't say which team we're for, we might agree on some things. And I might make you have to think about your political side because you might agree with me. Brother, whether you know it or not, you're in the resistance now. Because with that bill passing, and I still, y'all, the legal THC, and I don't think I got that in me to read what just passed, what our country just signed off on, and what the voting base said, yep, that's what we want. That's our boy. Y'all, when I say that this is going to kill Americans, first off, oh, they're not going to tax our tips no more. As one of those folks that works for tips, they never did. We don't make enough for our taxes or for our tips to come out in taxes. That's a big break for the big corporate headhunters and the ones that, as well as getting their fancy job when they get that new employee in, they get like a car or something like that, a little house. Yeah, they aren't going to get taxed on that anymore. The one that I heard most recently, the whole, oh, well, now you won't get taxed on your dead. Y'all, when I tell you everyone in my family that's worth a fuck is dead, I mean that. My dad died. My grandfather died. My grandmother dead. My mom dead. Man over here crying because they died when I was little. But, well, some of them did. But it's like, I see it from both sides. The biggest problem a lot of people have when folks die is, oh yeah, honey, I'm American. Of course I'm in debt. Everyone's in debt. I'm in a lot less of a debt than others, and that's what got me feeling better. I'm at about negative 500 running. That's just it. Every month I do my good. I work 60 hours. I pay off what debts I can. At the end of the month, negative 500. And that's fine. I will recover. It started at like negative 1,800. But that's also because, let me see if I can do this so I get my uniform. These teeth, as a byproduct of child abuse, bad genetics, and growing up in the South where our water is delicious and lead-lined. I can tell you, I lost most of my teeth, and I had to go through a surgery that was $28,000. Plus, it took about a month. Well, it took a full month to do the process. It took a full year to fully recover. So the fact that I'm negative 500 running is actually kind of a badge of honor. I'm still climbing, but this is hard. Give me a minute, because even if it's not an ad read, the thespian in me, you will not be getting an ad read from Raid Shadow Legends in my stream. Instead, you'll be hearing me typically complain about how my government keeps handing my money to the true parasitic class. And I don't typically call them the parasitic class, both to avoid demonetization and getting the critics to swarm me, but also because I don't like comparing people to parasites. The rich are parasites by choice, not by birthright. They could do better. They could be better. The thing is like most people, until they have to be, they won't be. Give you an example. How many workout streams and channels and how many people are out there jumping up and down in the living room right now, getting paid by y'all, not you guys, you're here with me chilling to the oldies, but getting paid to just jump around like maniacs. Now imagine if instead of paying them, you paid some guy or the douchebags throw into our gutters and out into our wild spaces. What if instead of paying the attention clout seekers, y'all paid people doing good things? I mean, I can't. I literally can just shout people out. That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of giving money to your church or your reverend, check out your secular student alliance or check out your local secular charity. Because believe it or not, folks, when you give money to the church, the first thing you're giving money to is a SAM account. That's capital S period, capital A period, capital M period. Look it up if you deal with your church's paperwork. I'm just kidding. Most churches don't actually keep the books. They cook them. But the thing is they'll basically cheat the people. Secular alliances, however, because they're held hard and fast to the C103 charities and their bylaws and rules, means every penny that goes to, and I'm going to keep shouting them out because it's the one I know off the top of my head, if you give money to, say, the secular that are in let's be clear, I'm not calling out all religious folks here. Because, there are some good religious folks out there. There's also people like the world famous Duggars who, it's bad when it's like, okay, for example, if we can go back to derail a little to a year ago, 3 years ago, when the woman bear debate came up about dudes and all the dudes got real upset. Of the 12, one of them won't want to rape you. Okay, now go over there and hang out with those guys for the rest of the day. Thank you very much. If you don't want to do that, then you understand the woman bear debate and you understand where I'm coming from with, I'm not saying all religion, I'm just saying most religions have a whole lot of a pedo problem in them. Oh, why did I need surgery? It was, oh God, I don't want to think about how long 3 years ago was. I needed surgery because of bad genetics, but also because dental care isn't a thing in the US. So I went to the dentist at 18. I had a slight cavity. After that, at about 19-ish, yeah, I'm doing good with math, it turned into an abscess. Then 18 years later, when I could see a doctor, more or less, it went from that to when I was about 23. But at 23, I could see a dentist. At that time, the abscession in one tooth had degraded the rest of that jawline, and I had like one tooth left that was actually good. Subject number. But it was an experimental treatment for the implant surgery. That's why the procedure took a month. Basically what they did was let me see if I can flip it around and not medically gross y'all out. If you see my bottom jaw, they basically planted 2 titanium-lined implants in my jaw that over about a month, they spent the time dialing it in, which go home, rest, take my painkillers and all that. And then after about a month, come in, dentist says, hey, how you doing? Checks the wound area, squirts water in my mouth, has me spit, and then pulls out this neat little cute machine and breaks my jaw again. Just a teeny bit, just a fracture, to drive this titanium stake in. I say thank you. He says thank you. I pay him around $500, and then I head on down the road. About a week, I come back. That proceeds for about a month. Then a year after that, it's all done. I need to go back once a year. I haven't been back in over a year because I can't afford it. It's $200 for the x-rays. And I'm fine at the moment, little lightheaded. My heart kind of puckers and patters every once in a while. But I lived for about 5 years in a level of pain that had... I had dentists asking me how I did that, how I lived through that. And I was just dumbfounded because I didn't want to die, because pain is terrible and unpleasant and not good. So you can probably buy it at any box store you go to. It's in the summer section. It's got a really pretty undertone though. And the top bit I added. That's from Michael's, the Halloween White Witch collection. Oh God, I'm turning into a live streamer like that. I'm just saying, I got it on sale, originally priced $15. I got it for like $3. And then I crocheted the little string out of something my dear friend and roommate gave me. So I have no idea what the price of that originally was. But that's kind of the thing, y'all, is I'm never here to say, hey, give me money. Hey, it's more of, hey, give these people attention. Hey, help these people out, because I'm hopefully going to be able to talk about her without tearing up. I'm a bit of a softie on that one. But like that nice lady that did the fox rescue, and now everyone knows her name except for me because I'm dumb. But she recently passed away due to her own hands, because all she wanted to do was save foxes and make them into pets. And a good portion of the UK thinks that foxes are fun to kill and fun to hunt. And they get a giant boner like my fellow countrymen get for killing deer, but for killing foxes. And they harass this woman literally to death. And everybody's just cool with it, because we're going to talk about it. We're going to be all you. And there are a lot of fragile folks out here that are good folks. And yeah, I get angry and I hate the rich. That's not a hidden fact. Look back at my other videos. In fact, eventually I'll probably do a haha diet de Verme style, let's eat the rich and here are the recipes section. But I mean, y'all, I was angry for 3 weeks and a lot longer than that, if we're going to be honest. Yeah, I didn't celebrate. My roommate and I had the day. I didn't get called into work, and I'm very thankful for that. Most of my day was spent sort of tongue-in-cheek laughing with my friends going, wow, okay, well, happy military, you know, may the empire rise and stand. God save the emperor. We did a lot of tongue-in-cheek shit, but I got most of my friends that are still alive are like military vets and the like, so any joke that I say before someone gets in my comments with the whole, oh, mean ass, I'm friends with a lot of military folk. I was a military brat. If it weren't for the, schizotypal disorder and ADHD making me neurodivergent, I would have been in the let's murder the brown people for fun camps. I broke. I don't say that in a woo, demons and ghosts. I say that in a, no, the rich people are fucking getting us to fight each other and we need to stop that shit. Or even so much as say, yeah, he's kind of doing Nazi shit, y'all. I'm sorry, I was dumb. They won't even come to the fold that much. No more. And he gonna help, he gonna make the country great. He said he's gonna make the country great. And a part of me is like, honey, you act stupid, but come on, let me show you something. 24/7 cigarette pack. Over here, another 24/7 menthol pack. Got a baggie, got some bullshit. I could easily be doing the littlest difference and picking up this trash. I just need to get the fuck to work, for one, and for two, I mean, without showing you my uniform, all I got's my one little Ingalls man purse. I can't really carry the trash at the moment. Feet to the fire on that one, just picking up trash, doing little shit. Because that's the thing, y'all. It's the Georgia, y'all. Oh, and you're fine. And nah, the litter's because people don't. It's in a public space. So these rich folks, not that they're very rich, don't go harass them if I accidentally show you their address. I'm not trying to be that way. But the ones that live in the one house behind the tree line here with 28 acres clear on the other side, they don't have to pick it up, so they don't care. The power company's supposed to maintain this portion of the road, but they don't care. And because nobody cares, much like all the food code violations I see at most of the restaurants I've worked at, nobody cares, so nothing gets done. I mean, the Taco Bell Long John Silver's I worked at in Acworth, Georgia. You want to talk about the 5 rats I found in various states of decay and fossilization behind the fryers because one day we were dead and I just took the wild hair up my ass to spray a hose back there? Now, this place had a B on the fucking health food rating, y'all. It was a B. I'm not talking the Roach Motel Diner where you go to get a $1 taco. I'm talking like it was fast food, but it was fast food that families ate at. Shocking crap there. I mean, the Zaxby's I worked at for about 3 days, the soda machine would not drain water out of it. Finally, my boss and I walked around back, and because the repair people weren't ever coming. We technically broke copyright or whatever tiny itty bitty we're going to get written up bylaw it is to open up the panel and basically start poking around in there. We pulled the basically hose that was coming out of the reservoir, and the machine took a nice little dump to make it polite. It took a nice little baby dump of just lemon rind, ice, paper, probably spit and whatever else people put in the reservoir. But I mean, y'all are paying high dollar for very, very disgusting things. I mean, hell, look at how much my folks here in Georgia pay for taxes for their houses and the like. And most of these side roads are absolutely covered in invasive plants, poisonous plants. And again, if you want to head to the Cartersville, Maine area, you've got to walk through here. If you want to go to a city hall meeting in New Harley, which is back that way, you have to walk through here and then around through the sun-beaten, no trees area. To go back down through Taylorsville, to go back the 5 extra miles they put in around the power plant to go to City Hall. Because at the end of this road, there is a bridge that if you cross, the last time I checked, it was an $800 fine on foot because they made it too small for people and vehicles to cross. So vehicles won that argument. And there's no other way to the town hall, the U Harley library, the little local ice cream shop, the adorable public park, the little Osborne Park they're redoing. If you live on the other side of the bridge, yeah, you need to walk at least 30 miles to get to that. If you live in Hunter's Landing, the big rich neighborhood next to that kind of ate Hunter's Landing, or in that little power plant worker commune area, yeah, you're right there. You're perfect spot. Lovely housing. I understand why you love living in Georgia. But if you live on the other side of the bridge, it's sort of like living on the other side of the railroad tracks. You can get to Cartersville Public Library, and let me be clear, one day y'all will see that on a live stream when I can get there. It's a beautiful library, but it's in this direction. And if you try to Matilda that, referencing the children's movie Matilda, well, let's just say here in Georgia, we raise real tough kids because the ones that ain't real tough don't make it. Again, this is the route I take to work. Yeah. No, I'm heading to work. I do the morning shift, but today's my short day. Well, I guess technically every day is my short day. Originally when I started working, it was 12 hours every day they opened. Then I realized that without a car and a healthy, respective authority, I was never going to make manager. So since there's no carrot and all stick, I'll just take what I need to get, you know? I come in whenever people call out and the management that I care for needs me. But the management that pisses me off realizes if you try to call me and you piss me off, yeah, that call might not come through, homie. Good luck. This is why I say value and love your good employees. Hate on the bad ones. Because when you treat us all the exact same no matter what, that don't breed confidence in the system. That breeds dissension within the ranks. Because I get paid the same as all the rest of my employees. Or all the rest of my fellow workers. All the rest of their employees. And that's including the one that's constantly almost setting the systems on fire because they never dumped the grease traps on it. That's including the two that, you know, occasionally lay out because they drank a little too much the day before, partied a little too hard, and accidentally hurt themselves some way. And that's all the people that just, you know, call in and never come back. And there's a great number. I mean, it's food work. It's fast food work, y'all. We get paid the lowest, but we're the first ones expected to carry the burden. When COVID happened, Georgia Power called out its workers. Zaxby's didn't. Zaxby's was there from the open until the shut of the pandemic. We lost 2 workers that I knew personally. Yeah. Like I said, it's rough out here, y'all, but I'm not here to be like, yeah, fuck you, power line workers. I'm here to be like, let's work together. The only person I'm saying fuck you to is Jeff Bezos. Only people I'm saying fuck you to is Trump and the higher-ups in the, orders and such. Because if you work out here and you're like me, and a single medical emergency can put you from, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to have a wonderful life, to, God damn, I hope the price of ramen don't rise by another 50 cents. If you're there, congratulations. Welcome to old poor. You're new poor. We won't judge you. It's not like the rich. They judge each other whether you're new or old at it. We won't. Once you're poor, you're kind of in the club. I just would really appreciate it if my fellow poors would stop voting fascist, because I'm sorry, honey, much like my biological father, they're never coming back. That milk was way the fuck far away. Them cigarettes must have been made of golden angel hair, because they ain't never coming home. Trump ain't never gonna come and save you. And guess what's coming, though? Guess what's not gonna miss out on you? Guess who thinks you're very important? The hurricane that's coming. That tidal wave that's going to hit Cali someday soon. Watch PBS Eons. It's not. Here's the thing. The things that I talk about because of what climate change is doing to the planet rapidly sound like I should be out here with, instead of a walking stick, a giant sign that says the end is nigh. But y'all, if we don't all wake the fuck up and start working together, I hate to say it, but the end might be nigh. I mean, at this point, I think capitalism is a true, in fact, death cult. I mean, how many folks with Trump flags just lost their medical care? How many of them are going to take the personal responsibility to wipe grandma's ass as Alzheimer's takes her working brain off the planet and she becomes very mean, very hateful, and very scared all the time? Because that's what that disease does to you. It makes you irrational. It makes you angry. And it's not really their fault, because, again, you have to try to work. Empathy is like everything else. It's like patience. It's like strength training. You've got to work those muscles. But it's our only real, if you want to call it a gift from our evolution and byproduct. And I'll tell you why. Most people say, oh no, it's only humans have it. Okay, if you put my said coworker who's proud of Trump in one of those little cages and gave me her favorite food and I was happily eating it, yeah, I'd be an asshole unless it was actually hurting her. If you do the same thing with rats in a lab, the rats will not eat the sweet treat they want and go free the other rat, even if that other rat has been aggressive to them in the past. Now, it's not a 100% of the time, but enough that the math is there. It was either Cambridge or Harvard, but it was one of the colleges and their labs did the tests. Check out Robert Sapolsky's book, Behave, or Naval Grande. Check out the book Behave, or check out various other, just look up mental neuroscience. There's a lot there. There's too much there for me, some dumb fry cook, to tell you about. But there's a lot there that'll make you open your eyes up, because, yeah, y'all, you have free choice, but there's no such thing as free will. We're the victims and the harbiters of our circumstance. I mean, yeah, I could have fallen into, like my uncle did, gotten really into opiates, gotten really into heroin, and then found Jesus and gotten into alcohol and a very angry woman. I don't know his wife. I avoid the people because, like I said, all my living family that's blood is dead. All the good ones died, and I don't go back to abusers. That's my choice. If you want to try it, I'm not going to judge you, honey. Just know that I'll always be here to say, fuck them, you ain't in the wrong. That's more of a personal matter that I can't fully talk on yet until after I get the okay from various other parties. Once those okays are done, then I'll fully do a whole tea dropping session. But for now, it's best that we don't. See, I do cool tricks all the time nobody sees. I just spun my staff and caught it and didn't drop it. Should have had the balls to show it off. Instead, I'll show you all my walking route again. Because again, the other side is not but kudzu and poisonous vines. This side, love the litter, is this lovely trail made by cars. Because our city, who gets tax money from all these good people and all of us, can't be bothered in over 30 years to put a sidewalk in. They can cut this entire line out into a skyline, because once upon a time this was all forest, and I remember those times. The walks weren't quite as unpleasant. But it'd be old money moved in, new money moved in, following them with their tacky trends and micro mansions, and now we've got this lovely testament to American hubris, I would say. And again, I'm not judging nobody. That's actually a very lovely front yard with trees and bushes and foliage, and it looks like a living environment. Good for them. Don't dox them. Don't bother them. I don't show these to you to get you to pick on folks. I show it as an example. Because for every living yard, you also got empty, dead space. And right now, well, currently where I'm leaving at was around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Where I'm heading into is going to be roughly 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to notice, once I stop babbling, much like before when I went to catch my breath, but out here, you don't hear the frogs. You don't hear the chipmunks. Our friends the rabbits burrowing are basically gone. You hear the bugs. They're doing all right. They get to live underneath all the grass and the sod and the litter. Yeah, it's fun out here, y'all. Again, imagine a little kid with no sense of self-preservation and the belief that the world cares. So they're over here walking in the space that's easiest to walk when that big old fella in their pavement princess drove by. I want you to just hold that thought in your head until it gets painful for you. Because that's what we face here. It's a force that's going to kill us. Unfortunately, it's not going to come after us like a dragon roaring and breathing fire. It's going to come after us, well, like climate change. It's going to come after us like a slowly increasing switch that we aren't going to notice and do anything about until it's already too late. Frogs in the boiling pot, so to speak. As I said, I try to stay optimistic, and I'm trying to not get angry about things, even though I'm just a little voice. Can you imagine if I had sunk like a ton of money like several other millennials have into actually studying the science, to be told by somebody who has never read a book other than a very Bronze Age sex manual that they know better than you do, because they didn't do the farm work, but their peepaw did the farm work. Well, honey, I'd rather talk to your peepaw. Where he at? Oh, he died. So you're just carrying on an angry legacy rather than fixing things. It's sort of like an Irishman that I watch occasionally, a Highland guy. I need to post more in my little community tab. I post videos there all the time that is like shout outs to other creators. But I'm trying to go about one of the things that he had suggested on his channel that makes a lot of sense to me. And that is basically, I'm not going to say this is what experts say anymore. I'm not even going to say this is what this scientist, master of the MacArthur Genius Grant, a man who's been in the field for over 40 years. I'm not going to say all that. I'm just going to say, hey, I read a lot of books and shit, and this is like the shit my books and shit are telling me. What you got? And we'll just go from there, because again, we build up these little encampments with each other, and we really got to break that down. Now, to be clear, if you are really behind Trump's bullshit, if you really think America will do better once we purify all the weakness out of our system and we build that fascist empire, you can go ahead and fuck off now. I don't have time nor headspace for you anymore. If you see something in that plan that's for you, let's talk about it. Who died? My bad. Did I get overzealous in my explanation? But yeah, I've had coworkers that died. Hell, I've had plenty of coworkers that have died that I'm not going to drop names or nothing because that's like their business and their affairs. But like when I worked in the towboating industry, there was an old engineer I worked with, the only nice one that I knew. He'd routinely run out on tow to help us out and stuff. And he ended up getting screwed over by the company because while he was out there on tow helping us, his hand went into a winch and 4 of his fingers departed him on that trip. And the company convinced him to return to work just one more time and then fired him because he couldn't keep up. This is so normal. You can talk to anyone that's ever worked in any industry, and they've got someone they know that this has happened to. And yeah, the city always wants the taxes, but the problem is for what? Because, like I said, last year in the heat wave, we lost like 3 of our homeless folks just because it got so hot they cooked on the road. I wouldn't mind. Again, I'm not against taxes. I think we should be taxed as a society. I just think that, you know, when some of us are eating bread sandwiches and sleep for dinner, and some of us are going to Italy to rent Italy for, again, a testament to our hubris, there should be more taxes on those going to Italy for their hubris, and much less taxes on the people that aren't even able to eat. Let's look away from that part of the road. I thought that was a dirt clot. That was not, in fact, a dirt clot. And as much gore as I see out here, I am going to do my best not to show y'all that poor critter. That is... Oh, that was a possum or an armadillo. It is very hard to tell from the remains of the carapace. And all I can really identify outside of that lovely, rancid, rotting, sweet meat smell is they got an armored tail on them. I see bits of, oh, yep, that was an armadillo. I heard part of the shell pop. At least in that state, we know that it died fairly quickly. And at least in that current state, yeah. I feel bad for anyone walking their kid to the library today. Though let's be honest, if your kid's walking 5 miles through the Georgia sun, they might have bigger problems than seeing a dead armadillo. But yeah, y'all, I want to change the world in a better way, and I don't want to have my name attached to it because our country has such a bad habit of, you know, killing people that only want to bring peace. These are dark times, and that's why at the end of every stream that I remember to, that I'm not passing out in the middle of. Sorry about that, y'all. I promise I don't have narcolepsy. I just touch of the insomnia, touch of the constant worry. When I heard the new bill pass and I haven't even begun to read it all, I'm like, oh, that's going to kill a lot of people. I wonder who exactly it's going to kill. Because, yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, as a working person who used to be on food stamps, who got cut almost immediately from food stamps, I think due to my age personally. But, yeah, my stuff got cut and I was only getting $80 from the government in the state. I can only imagine how some of these folks that rely on their food stamps. Because that's the other reason that I'll say, work in the food industry, y'all. I mean, sometimes you're stealing the food rather than the bosses being generous, but most good bosses will give you at least a couple meals because it behooves them to not have their workers passing out. They love you like, you know, you love your slaves and your equipment. Like the U.S. loves their military. Is that a little too spicy for right after Patriots Day? I'm sorry. But let's just remember, while we celebrated Patriots Day, ICE is now getting paid more than the Marines, and the Soldier Suicide Hotline Prevention Project got cut due to Trump's big, beautiful bullshit. So again, your bosses love you like the U.S. loves its military while you're useful to them. And the moment you stop being useful, well, who are you again, buddy? I'm sorry, when? What? I'm sorry, I don't got no money right now. Hobo, piss off. That's what American love is, folks. It's, oh, can I use you? Cool, come here, buddy. Bestest friend in the whole wide world. Oh, you're done being useful to me? Okay, piss off then, bye. I'm going over here to this friend now. Hey, buddy, do you have money? And I'm tired of that shit, so I'm getting rid of it. It's similar to, yes, I have a tiny little art shop that I do my sad little upcycled art with, and that's what I think I'm going to call it. I quite haven't figured out a name for it yet. I need something that I can basically put on a sign and wear as I walk. But I do color in books. I pick up good high-end colored pencils wherever I can, and I try acrylic paints now and then. I make frames out of Amazon boxes and various other upcycled but cleaned refuse. And I make a tiny collection of various bullshit I find on the road. Those projects are also dropped in my shorts. Most of my art projects are in my shorts. Forget Me Not, one of my fellow creators on here, keeps telling me that I need to start actually doing the live streams of me doing the artwork. For that, y'all, once I get an actual like shop or an area in which I can fully control, yeah, I might do that. But for right now, I don't quite want y'all to hear how many creative curse words I come up with, nor how many times I get stopped in the middle of doing one of these projects to have to go clean up some animal's crap. Or have to otherwise, you know. I'm not a trad wife streamer, y'all. I'm a real person here. So y'all see the real me. The angry, the heat stroked. But understand, y'all, it's all for the heart and it's all for the love of the game. I'm hoping that no one else ever has to make these hikes and these walks like I do. But I know they will have to. So it'd be awfully nice if our city that we all pay so many tax dollars to would make a less beautiful, picturesque window-style drive-through and instead make it more practical for those of us who actually have to do the hiking. Because again, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty. I downright want to stop and take a selfie here, right, y'all? I mean, it is arguably a pretty road. Let's ignore the fact that it's killed at least 3 people that I know of that have caused accidents on this road because people don't pay attention on the big sweeping flat land. Maybe they get distracted by our beautiful hayfield. Who knows? And we are 47 minutes in. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the watches. Like I said, I currently have 80. I'll be surprised if I lose any of y'all now. The fluctuation of likes and dislikes seems to be becoming more steady. And I'm kind of happy for that because it's not that I don't care, y'all. I'm not self-absorbed like that. I do care about y'all's opinion. I'd love to hear like what y'all think in chat, and I'd love to eventually, if any of y'all are in Georgia and can promise me you won't say slurs, I don't care about the F words and the fucks and the shits and the dams and the cunts and all that. I do have a problem with the N slur, the C slur for the Asian participants. I have a problem with slurs. I don't have a problem with people cussing because it's just another part of our language. And quite honestly, you will reach more middle and poor people with a foul mouth than you will talking like a choir boy. Because again, most of these good folks give their 10% at church. They do it every fucking Sunday. And what do they have to show for it? Well, every Sunday their preacher will tell them someone else to hate. Or every Sunday they'll tell them how great a job they're doing, so sit back, take a nap, we're doing good here. But they'll never say, hey, y'all, let's all get together and go clean up this park. In the worst case, it'll be, hey, y'all, let's all get together and go oppress this other country. Hey, y'all, let's all get together and go join a colonizing force to force Christianity on a people that don't want it. And if they say anything against you, well, then they're the devil's property. They're monsters. No, they just don't want your bullshit. Leave them alone. I mean, it's like how I keep hearing scatterings of news stories about how various countries have started throwing rotten tomatoes and squirting water guns and throwing drinks at Americans and shit. And it's like, I mean, yeah, y'all, when World War II was kicking off, do you think the Nazis were greeted with open arms? The places that are going to be super nice to you, you should take that as a red flag, not as a, oh, they love us here. Wow, there's like no brown people at all. Wow. I wonder why they love us Americans here so much. That's a red flag, folks. That's not a, oh, mina bruda. That's all I'm saying. I'm a much happier person in a punk rock community than I'll be in any other community at the moment. Mostly because, and I could be wrong, again, drop it in chat if I'm wrong and you know of a punk rock community. But most punk rock communities tend to oust fascists, and they tend to oust like hate groups pretty quick. Because a whole part of the original alternative or punk rock aesthetic is fuck your rules, fuck your organization. It's about freedom, mate. Going that the original punk rockers were in the UK during a time when it was very much not about freedom, mate. Like I said, it's easy to get on here and spread hate. For that, all you need to do is go to any right-wing fucking talking head. And some on the left, like, oh, what's the amazing atheist calling himself nowadays? I don't know if I said ow, I actually felt that mosquito bite me. But not the amazing, it might not be the amazing atheist. It's the one that just gets on here, puts on face makeup and screams at the right and the left. And he doesn't really talk about how to change anything. Just, you know, the geriatric, God bad, all that shit. Now, I'm not here to dissuade his point. Yeah, God bad. Mostly because if you think Sky Daddy's gonna come fix it, well, if I was your landlord and I told you next week I'm replacing the carpet, would you give a damn if the kids spilled juice? Would you care if the dog shit on it if I was replacing the carpet next week? I bet you wouldn't. Similar to Christians who think God's coming back. If you think Daddy's gonna come clean up our mess, well, then you're going to be less likely to try to curb the mess. It'll just be more magical and miraculous when he fixes it. And I applaud your enthusiasm, but what if he can't? What if it's like in the actual Bible and the fact that we've mastered iron at this point, everything with iron in it just makes God powerless? Because again, I would love to get a Bible, and eventually I will. I used to have one, but I kind of, you know, my book collection is small as I have been homeless several times. Always had a safe place to go. Didn't want to go home because it wasn't safe. Then when I finally decided, fuck it, there's nowhere else to go to the safe place. The safe place was not a safe place and everyone had died. So, you know. Appreciate who you got while you got them. Remember, it's more about found family than blood, because blood runs thicker than water, but they both feel the same when your eyes are closed. Also, to clear that old analogy up, the original analogy of that one from the biblical age is the blood of the womb, or what was it? The blood of the womb is thicker than the water, but nothing is thicker than the love of the covenant, I believe is what like I said, most of the quotes that I give y'all are from memory, because I went to the cotillion. My grandfather, the military vet, was Lutheran, and I was raised very Lutheran, but my mama was Catholic, so I was taken to the Catholic Church quite a few times too. And my ex-wife now was Protestant and Baptist, so I did my rounds in the churches, y'all. I can tell you it's all bullshit and it's all bad for you. If you find community, that's great. I'm not going to deny you a community. But I guarantee you, your deacon, your priest, your preacher, your rabbi, or whatever the head of your church is definitely living better than everyone else in your congregation. And I'm sorry, but one of the testaments out of the Bible that I remember from the cotillion classes was, if you're under a prophet, and the prophet is making more money than your poorest person, if they're dressed nicer than your poorest, if you can figure out who in your group is the prophet, well, that's a false prophet, friends. Because if you're doing it for the Lord, well, the Lord's doing your shit. And some of us ain't scared to die, so that's not really I'm tough. That's more of I've done this every day for years now. When you have drunken people flying by you at way too fast a speed for this road, technically the speed limit on this road is 45, 55 through here. Or wait, I might be wrong. I believe that's a speed limit sign up ahead. Either way, it's not 75. The kids think it's 75. And the dipshits think it's whatever the bottom of your pedal reaches. Perhaps Americans having vehicles was a mistake. I'm not going to say self-driving cars are the answer, because they most certainly are not. They're arguably the only thing worse than a Georgia driver. I'm sorry, I rag on folks a lot, but understand, y'all, the walk that takes me about an hour to 2 hours, it's about a 15-minute drive. And if I had a way to do it that wasn't totally destroying the planet, I would do that. But it seems like we live in a system that is totally and completely hell-bent on destroying the very planet that we live on. I mean, again, we have a housing crisis, but we have this much space dedicated to growing 4 bales of hay and having a fishing spot by the river. Now, I'm being pragmatic. Perhaps they pulled 8 bales of hay out of that field this year, but I saw them stored. They weren't exactly maximizing their space. I'll remind you, in the heat of the summer, we are going to lose. People will die, because when you have a wet bulb temperature above 98 degrees, you cannot cool off. The only thing that will cool you off is introducing something like ice or introducing something like an air conditioning, which, while an air conditioning will cool you off, it's warming up everything else. So it's similar to, I'm going to save myself, but as I'm saving myself, I'm lowering everyone else into the boiling water. So sit with that guilt and be uncomfortable about it, because we should really do that more often. I'm big into we need to feel what our feelings are doing to the rest of the world. And this is where I point out poison oak, poison ivy, and I don't quite know what these plants are, but I'm positive I don't really want to get their sap on me. I'm wanting to learn more about the fun ecology around us, mostly because I have to hike through it. Also because if it's too poisonous, I have a glove, I will have a bag. I'm gonna start making changes to actually help. Considering our state ain't gonna do it, our average citizen can't be fucked with to do it. So if no one else will do it, fuck it, I guess I'll do it. I've been looking into ecology because I am trying my best to not be I'm gonna do the right thing and end up screwing up the environment worse because I overcorrect. The problem is if you want to get on here and bitch about the government, that's real easy. Ample resources. Want to get out here and say, hey, these are the seeds you need to pick up from your local box store and just start throwing them around to reclaim the natural environment. That's real hard. Everything on YouTube will tell you the environment's on fire. And currently, since I started looking up native ecology in Georgia, I have gotten 4 sites saying, don't worry about it. Georgia's on the rebound. We are the nation's leader in flower plants. I'll get various streams on Ohio and how the California wildfires are still burning. I'll get plenty of videos on how to save the redwood forest. And don't get me wrong, that needs to happen. If you're out in Cali, go save the redwood forest. But here in Georgia, I want to save our swamps. I want to save our bayous. And I don't find it entirely greedy to be like, I want a sidewalk for our kids to be able to reach public resources. I want people more invested in their public goods and resources. Because it not only benefits me, but everyone else. Whole patch of poison. I mean, y'all, believe it or not, a strong, well-fed, well-educated community is its own reward. I can't tell you how many assholes I walk around today that's like, well, why do I gotta pay school tax? I don't even have no kids. Yeah, but it would behoove you to not have a bunch of little sociopaths running around, right? It's good when the kids can read books and shit, right? That's why you fund public education. And here in America, we don't fund it well enough. Got plenty of money to teach the kids how to play sports. Don't got nearly enough to teach them what art is or to teach them critical thinking, which is something that has to be taught. Remember, if you think you cannot be scammed, you cannot be conned. Well, there's a name for you, friend. It's called a mark. Like I said, hell, y'all, I've been trying to build money and go on an Appalachian Trail hike to bury my mama's ashes at Mount Candidate for over 2 years now, rounding 3. I went once. I climbed the great stairs at the falls, and I got right to the trailhead to start the AT, and my day's vacation was over and I had to go back to work. So one day I'll go. I don't know when that day will be though anymore, and now that the rescue cats have been crapping on all my camp gear, I've got to clean and probably replace a good number of that. But it's like, that's just my plans getting set back. What I'd like to do here for the community, but again, simple sidewalk. Now we come to the barren, dead part of our walk. And eventually I'm gonna get all the pictures on my laptop and get them up on the channel so y'all can see. Because I have been taking pictures as they did it, just as a byproduct of taking pictures as I walk through. But I don't know what they're doing anymore. Originally I heard it was gonna be a new housing complex, luxury apartments and the like. Because that's what we need here. We need more luxury apartments for our middle-class factory workers to live in. Because we don't have enough luxury homes and enough luxury neighborhoods and enough luxurious people. We need more luxury here. I'd say we need practical homes. Ideally, homes that are solar powered. That way, yeah, it won't be 100% all the time it works. But again, I'd rather have a system of safety nets than just one giant clusterfuck if it ain't gonna work in an emergency. But this is the other part of the skyline they gave us, because once upon a time, you wouldn't see the sky through here. It was thick, thick woods. In fact, a little bit of a piece of history that I carry with me, my walking stick comes from a route that I got from this walk. I took the bark, well, there wasn't really a bark, but I took the outer layer of skin off of it. I took some leech seed oil, tried to take acrylic paint to it, did not work out the way I wanted, so quit that part of the project. But it's a good solid walking stick, and it came from a tree that was probably older than I am, probably one of the older ones in this area, and now it's been ground into mulch. So some luxury pompous asshole who don't belong in Georgia can come down here once a year and take really fancy pictures right here next to our shoreline that's slowly eroding. Meanwhile, they're killing our local wildlife and habitats and some of our own people. Because again, imagine if I hadn't sidestepped that. Not that I have a lot of space to sidestep. Would our big friend have shared the road? Boy howdy, record says no. That's it. I don't think America should be a lottery. I think it should be people get what they need, you know? I think housing, clean water, healthy food is the base. It's the start. It's not the end product. Let's all celebrate our hard work. That's okay, we're finally not terrible, shitty people. Now, let's advance that. For me, food, shelter, clean water, that's the base for every single person who crosses a border and gets into this country. And yes, I said it that way for a reason. I'm highly against ICE. I cannot tell you how against the current administration I am. Literally, I can't because they're fascists, and if I say too much about it, well, I'll probably get picked up. I am in Georgia where some of these dipshits still suck Trump off because they too are black-hearted evil bastards. And they probably don't wipe their own ass, let's be honest. Now, I'm using that as an insult because I heard it on the internet from the fucking incel forum communities and shit that apparently washing your ass is gay. Friends, the men are not okay. Go check in on the straight sisses in your life. Make sure they know that clean underwear and washing your ass is the minimum. That's not a, oh, he's so trying to get, no, that's the minimum. Cleanliness should be the goddamn minimum. None of you motherfuckers should be smelling like a gym bag. Y'all, Y'all, real talk here. I might smell like pine and the Caribbean fucking coconut from my Axe deodorant, because that's all the Dollar General has that don't make my armpits break out. But, y'all, I walk 4 miles a day and I don't smell like shit. You too should not smell like shit. If you smell like shit, you got a medical problem. Go get washed. Hello, USA driver. I hope you're doing all right. I'm curious to what you drive. Are you one of our many trucking individuals? And if you are, do stay safe out there. Yeah. If you're another kind of driver, like an Uber driver or one of the other people not as protected, and I'm not saying truckers are protected, but also shout out to y'all. Again, it's a class war, folks, and we're all 3% is our target. 3% is the enemy. And guess what? If you're working on this fine morning, you ain't the enemy. The ones that we hate, well, they don't work. They drive around in oversized, overpumped, overstuffed vehicles to overstuffed, overstomped, pompy houses. And hell, folks, we're just slowly moving into the Gilded Age. How do we stop that? Together. Together. And I'm not saying violently. I'm saying treat it like high school was. Just ignore them. Let's point out here the complete and wonderful failure that is Elon Musk. This man arguably got more money than God. Bought the world's biggest, strongest social media platform. Rubbed elbows and purchased the United States of America's president. And he is still hated by everyone. Even his own community hates him. On top of his own community hating him and all of his children hating him, even his own little meat shield that he carries around hates him. But on top of all that, he made a robot solely for Mr. Roboto, please love me. And even the robot dogs him, man. Money will not buy you friends or respect or happiness. And we all should take a moment while we're dying and just enjoy that fact. No matter how bad you have it, the richest man in the world feels as bad as you do right now. And he has all the money in the goddamn world, but the personality of a pile of month-old dog shit. For that, I'm sorry, Osmond Gold. I'm kind of taking your bit. Because let's face it, Osmond Gold is the equivalency to month-old dog shit. And yet kids like him, and I don't understand. And I don't understand why people like him can have kids. For that, I mean in his audience. I don't think any woman will ever let Osmond Gold within sniffing distance of her because, again, the man does not wear deodorant, as admitted on his channel, because only fat people need deodorant. Son, everybody needs deodorant. And I want to say this to anyone who's ever been to a convention or an anime convention of any kind. You need deodorant. I will not have fat shaming on my channel, but I certainly won't have that dipshit rhetoric on my channel. Yeah, arguing with ghosts. Like I said, we come to the point where my brain starts to cook because it's been quite a few miles of hiking. And I'd like to stay more on the positive side. So I'm positive that we need to work together to fix this situation. By the way, everyone, when I walk home, typically on that side of the road, this is what this side of the road looks like. I can actually walk over here right now because they are not currently working. Typically, when I walk through this area in the afternoon when I'm getting off work on my short days, the gentlemen around here are working. And this is how I know we're in the red Georgia area of it. I don't remember what the plateau is called exactly, but Georgia's made up of 6 to 7 regions. And so I know now, having to do all this damned homework, roughly where to start looking to find plants that would be native to here. And I'm doing my best, y'all. I hope everyone does their best to try to do good. Oh, by the way, here's a fun little thing they do here when they work in construction. This is how you keep kids from coming out to your work and biking it up and having a good old time. You put in little trenches that if you're just going on through, you won't notice. But But if you're driving your dad's truck in here or your car in here, you'll get stuck and then the police can come find you. Or you can lose a lot of money and a lot of shit just for wanting to have a fun time with your friends. Happy late 4th of July, y'all. Ain't America great now? I'm just curious, what's so great about it? Someone do tell. Because it's certainly not our walkways. It's certainly not our well taken care of, well-mannered people. And again, y'all, I'm about to go work 7 to 8 to 9 hours. Not quite sure when the shift will be over. Well, I'm staying till close today, so I'll get off around 3:30-ish. If my friend's parents come to pick her up, I will likely hitch a ride home with them, and I'll be doing a couple live streams from the game. Once I get the laptop set up, I'll try to set up a little area, but I'm still building a set. So y'all, please be patient with me. I'm doing my best on that end. I'd like to give you better content than what I have been, but I am genuinely doing my best. And as always, I won't do ad reads unless it's something I truly support, and most of what I support can't afford to pay me, so none of my ad reads will ever be paid. If you want to pay me after I get 100 or more of y'all that want to actually show up, show out, all that business, 100 subscribers, I'll go through the headache of figuring out how to set up all the Patreons, Ko-fis, all that stuff. Until I get 100 of y'all that actually say I should be doing this, I'm just, it's easier to just bring you this stuff for entertainment, for the love of the game. And games up. This afternoon, I'll be continuing on my video games. I'm just not sure what we're going to be playing yet. Again, if y'all want to take a vote underneath these videos, I have the choice at the moment on the console of Minecraft, which it's kind of a steady thing I do. I've got Saints Row. It is set on the hardest difficulty. I've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It is set on normal because I have never beaten Odyssey, and we are about to be at the point where I'm past anything I've done. I typically, back when these games were popular, was Poison Ivy, Poison Oak. These are the ones you want to avoid the most, folks. These are the reason that the methamphetamines. It's because I don't have the option but to march through it. But if you can avoid it, do avoid it. It's bad for you. Bad for your skin, bad to burn. But choice in games, as I said, Saints Row, the newest one. Someone got me in chat the other day. Good job. You had me Googling for a while. There is a Saints Row 2. The Saints Row franchise originated in the early 2000s, about the same time as a popular and I'm assuming that's an umbrella, but we'll check that out later if it's still there. But Saints Row is based on a franchise based on written by the same team that brought you Adult Swim. So, as the franchise grew and as they developed like song bases and all that, it's like Grand Theft Auto, but if Grand Theft Auto never took itself seriously. So there is a Saints Row 2, Saints Row the 3rd, Saints Row Re-Elected, which is the 4th game, and in my opinion, when they jumped the shark and should have ended it. But then they have the last one of that particular part of the franchise, Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, starring Johnny Gat, one of the main characters, escaping hell. Well, taking over hell, escaping hell, it's sort of you choose the way you play, and it has 6 endings. And it's 6 hard set endings that they are real good on telling you how to do it. But there's that. And then there's the one that I'm currently playing, which is Saints Row Santo Ileso, which I'm not quite sure if it's like same universe, different gang, different saints, different town, or if it's, it's still kind of iffy. Because they've got Johnny Gat tattoos. They've got Professor Ginky, the Mad Murder Cat, and he was a main staple in the Saints Row franchise. So I think it's the same universe, but I think perhaps because Saints Row Streets of Rage is a game in Saints Row, and from the third game, it's just a reference in that we'll never actually meet our version of the original boss. Long way about saying I do not have Saints Row 1 or 2. I have 3, 4, and the Gat Out of Hell, and I'm currently, until we beat it on Boss Hard, playing the newest rendition. If you want to see the game just beaten and you don't want to see the struggle, I totally get it. Check out the playlist. I've already beaten it on hard mode and normal mode. I don't remember which one the playlist was set on, but that was back when YouTube was letting me edit my own videos real easily. They changed the editing software on the PlayStation 4, and I sadly, as you can probably guess, do not own a PS5. Oh, US driver, that's very sweet of you. No. I've had one in the past, and eventually I want to get a Vespa or another small motorized vehicle of sorts, perhaps a motorbike, but I'm kind of good on car culture. Just because, nothing against people who have to drive, I understand the US is set up specifically for cars, but I can't in good faith participate in it. For so many reasons. And again, it's not a moral judgment call because, again, I've been on stream for 1 hour and 16 minutes. This is not the whole route. Y'all really, unless you come down here to Georgia to physically walk with me, will never see the whole route because I don't want people to know where I work at. Because I've made a deal with my good bosses, the ones that I'll come in for and all that, my managers, that I don't want to bring negative attention to our restaurant. Because as much as I badmouth Trump supporting jackasses, yeah, I feed a lot of you motherfuckers for how much I hate you. But I also, that puts me in that mental space, you know? Because, yeah, I fucking hate you if you're a Trump supporter, let's be clear. But I still think you should eat. As Tupac would say, before, the fucking state murdered him. As Tupac would say, I want you to eat, just not at my table. And that's kind of how I feel it would be good if the fucking world... Because again, I have broken bread, so to speak, supped wine with hardcore hunters. I have hung out with people that hunt on the side for fun. I've hung out with poachers. I've hung out with all sorts of people. I mean, I almost died a couple times. Once for real, flatline, almost died. Had a surgery that bankrupted me enough to make me understand the medical epidemic in America. And best of all, my grandfather was and I cannot go too far on it because, government being what it is, but he retired from a very high up part of the Pentagon. I was upper middle class in the 90s and came crashing down because I, wanted to live on my own merit like a dipshit. I refused to take the Nepo handouts when they were available, and now I couldn't go back to them because everybody's dead. And I could mourn that, but I'm kind of happy about it because taking the bitter pill, so to speak, is what's gotten me to understand shit better. Also to understand that while I was in upper middle class, I was also upper middle class with a mental condition. So lots of isolation, whole lots of isolation and unhealthy ass coping mechanisms. But we don't talk about that as much because we're trying to stay positive. If you don't want to talk about that, we can. Oh, you redacted. I'm sad. You redacted twice. Oh, why'd you redact, friend? I'm not judging nobody. I understand car culture's like a thing here. Let me face to face this one, friends. I'm not judging you if you get a car. I'm not judging you if you support the genocidal system that is the United States. I'm just saying don't rah that genocidal system is all. Because again, it's not your fault. I mean, I've been walking for 1 hour and 19 minutes. That's what y'all have seen. That's not including the 20 minutes that I had to backtrack because I got to the JoJo's gas station, went, oh, fuck, it's trash day. Yesterday was January 4th. And went running home real quick to get the trash can out to the curb so David didn't have to fuck with it. Because, yeah, it's a full can. We got cats and dogs. But I'm also about to be ending here at the four-way because I'm about to enter into that lovely part of the shop that is the fast food line I've shown y'all in a previous live stream. If y'all want to have fun and guess where I work, I can't tell you, but I will eventually, you know, teach y'all how to read people's faces that way, I guess. But yeah, I don't judge people who got cars. I don't judge you for being really into your car, because it's much like horses were back in the Wild West. It's your means, it's your mode. I get it. It's not shame and name you, brother. It's shame and name the people that make it to where public transit is an impossibility. It's the people who profit from both you and mine suffering. And for the record, just to be absolutely on a pin here with that one, that's not the Jews. That's not the immigrants. That's rich white fuckers. That's rich fuckers from other countries who've never been to this country, who might not even know what they're doing is evil. They just know they give this jackass $200, he gives them $2,000, and they say thank you and don't ask anything else. Believe it or not, most times in the real world, it's not some hand-wringing evil villain. It's not some teeth slipped. It's not some Fizzarali style, like, hand-wringing Mr. Burns villain. Though, yeah, sometimes it is in the case of like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Most of the time, it's just an apathetic person who's worked his ass off or her ass off and who sees easy money and doesn't ask a single damn question about it other than, oh, I get that much? Okay, cool. What do I gotta do? Sweet. Sign off here. Thank you. Have a good day. I don't want to know anything else. That's how most of the evils propagate. That's how our waterways get poisoned. That is arguably how the big bullshit bill passed and made it to where here very soon your grandma's going to lose her medication. That's not a, ooh, like when we all took COVID shots and half the crazy people said that half of us were going to die. No, that's a fact. Medicaid's getting cut to give the rich people gigantic tax cuts that are not going to benefit us one teeny bit. That's the thing, folks. Your enemy ain't the people you think it is. Your enemy is the rich ones amongst us. By the way, y'all, community first, stick together. And remember, our planet's seen a lot worse than this, just not on this scale. We will survive together. But y'all be good. I'll see you after work. Peace. Did it end? Now it ended. I'm a fucking movie.